Some wise person said we should enter every activity without giving men recognition to the possibility of failure. How profound would you say? What we do here, we can align with that. Wouldn't you agree? Especially as oftentimes we are lighting tomorrow with the activities that we do today. Some things that we'll talk about may not be affecting us now, but they can impact us. For example, we've talked about security matters, talked about weddings and marriages. We've talked about relationships in the workplace and elsewhere. We've talked about you, I, and everyone else who claims to be that patriotic Nigerian. And we're not resting on our arse today as we delve into retirement and benefits. When we talk retirement, many of us are referring to our parents. That's why I said sometimes the information may not be what you need now, but file it in somewhere. And that's how you hear what's today bandied about like a PFA, PTAD. You hear about emoluments. You hear about advance and salaries most of the time. Some will talk about pencom. Some will ask you, plans have you made for your retirement? When we became employed gainfully in this wonderful place that comprises a big family like the NTA, guess what we're told? They say start planning for your retirement the very first day you get employed. Perhaps we didn't do all of that. But now, as we awaken the consciousness in you, we are also reawakening it in ourselves. My name is Thelma Obaze. I'm not alone. My sister, my friend, Patience Eloyi Baba is here.
Oh, Thelma, you look amazing, girl.
Just like you too, my sister. You look awesome. Amazing. You know, it's been 2 weeks. I wouldn't say we missed you because we were in touch, but our viewers did miss you.
Yeah, they did.
My sister, she was bereaved, but she's been back.
Yeah,
she's been back.
Yeah, it's what it is. Losing a brother like I did was quite painful. It's still painful. It's difficult, but as difficult and as painful as this is, life goes on. So we are here to do another weekend show with you. It's not, like I said, it's life. We must go on. Like Thelma rightly said, it's all about retirement and benefits. You know how they say Nigerian workers get anxious and apprehensive once retirement is approaching. Okay, that anxiousness and being apprehensive is occasioned by fear of the unknown. What will my life be like when I retire? How will I cope? And so the challenges are many. Financial insecurity, social problems, and so many uncertainties. People even accuse some Nigerian workers of manipulating the system so they can stay longer. But what can we do so that after having served the nation meritoriously for 35 years, after attaining the blessed age of 60, you look forward to a beautiful, blissful retirement? What are some of the challenges confronting our benefit system? We'll be answering all that today on the show. It's all about retirement and benefits. And have I told you? No, I didn't say it. It is Weekend Deal, your favorite weekend show, coming to you from the network service of the NTA. Thanks for keeping our company. They are here again, Thelma. They are here again, Thelma.
Talking about retirement and benefits, yours and mine, not just for the public sector, but also for the private sector. When you're about to retire, plans must be made. Oftentimes, we wait until the last year, even the last month. But in hindsight, we get to know that it should have started like 10 years before then. That's why today, Sufyan is delving deep, Procrastination, they say, is the thief of time, is the thief of gratuity and pension too, if there's no adequate planning. Sufyan, you did your research. What did you find? Please share.
Every employee prays to retire in good health after years of service in order to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Therefore, it's important to consider specific needs and lifestyles when determining retirement savings, goals, and plan. What most employees ask is, when is the best time to start preparing for retirement?
Best time to plant an iroko tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. And during our unbonding, they told us that you start preparing for your pension as soon as you start engagement, because you know that it's been stated. Either your terms of engagement has been stated, 30 years, 40 years, 35 years, you're going to live. For whatever number of years your contract is going to last, you start preparing for pension. But unfortunately, what has happened is that many people wait towards their time of retirement. And you see this very common with Nigerian employees, especially those of them who are with a contributory pension scheme. And these are the challenges people are facing. At the end of the month, if you don't get alert on your salary, you are agitated, you're worried. You go to the bank, but you never care to know what has happened. Have they remitted your pension? And as a result of that, you forget. And 2 years to your retirement, you're running helter-skelter. If there are updates, if there are documentations you need to make, you may not have made them. And it looks like the system is suffering you. No. If you do things right at the right time, if you take cognizance of it and know that one day you will leave the office, definitely you prepare for your retirement.
Sadly, some retirees have gone through their retirement process smoothly and upon receipt of their benefits began to accept that the system is not fair to them.
Why is there disparities in salary? Are there people earning the same thing? So why wouldn't there be? It is called contributory pension scheme. It is what you earn. Your contribution is a function of what you earn. So if you want to make a general complaint, go to the main problem, not at the pension. If your agency and some people in the oil and gas are not earning the same thing, you're Nigerians, you all work for the federal government.
With proper documentation, the timeline to finish processing application for benefits payment after retirement is not expected to be more than 5 working days from the date the application is received by PENCOM.
There are steps that have to be in place. Yes, even the contributory pension scheme on one hand, many people are complaining that the computations, the calculations and everything are not in place. These are things the government needs to look into to see how they can ensure that retirees suffer less. Also, there have been several delays in the payment of retirees, and this is a factor of inability of government to remit when they are supposed to remit. And as it were, if people retire from work, the next month they should be receiving their pension. It's a balanced thing. There's a law that has been put in place to make sure that retirees get what they deserve when they retire. But on the other hand, there are issues of non-compliance with some agencies or the government, which is why it looks like it is not as good as it should have been.
Retiree savings account holder would need to be out of employment for a period of 4 months before an application can be submitted for a 25% payment of pension balance. According to the rules, this application can only be made once, and data capture exercise would need to be completed before the retiree can apply. Is this rule fair to someone who has given the best years of his or her life in service?
The federal government of Nigeria has introduced the contributory pension scheme in the year 2004. And since then, there have been several enhancements, review of the law and everything. And for as many as have participated in the contributory pension scheme, you see that there have been some positive things about it.
A retiree is regarded as a senior citizen with all special entitlement he or she can get. In Western countries, retiree get most services like bus or train ride free of charge, along with aspects of healthcare. When can retiree begin to get the benefits they deserve in Nigeria?
This is why Weekend Deal today focuses on retirement and benefits in Nigeria.
Oh, Sophia, and that was in depth. I mean, what? I asked a question. What is it about retirement that people dread? I mean, it's retirement. You're worried. You are anxious. Tell me.
Well, I think the worry is like you don't have the things you think you're meant to have.
Okay.
Like you don't have a house in place.
Mm-hmm.
For some people, their kids may not be done with university. For some,
healthcare,
health, then also the health.
Oh yeah, the health.
If you have anybody ailing in your family who you are assisting, you start thinking.
Because there's something called late blooming. There's something called late blooming. I know that the owner of KFC started his business at 60. That just tells you that retirement, after so many fails, you can reinvent yourself. Yes. Retirement is not the end of the world. You can actually retire from your regular job and life will change for you.
But you know what about that KFC guy? He didn't just start at 60.
He didn't just start.
Several
years. What I'm saying. Yes. But that was the yes. So at 60.
So you must start now to even plan.
And then maybe as you're leaving the regular job, something opens up for you. My mother started a doctorate degree after retirement. And today she's Dr. Mrs. Franca, NIE Itodo. That's my mother. So I'm thinking that retirement is not the end of it all. We can just start our lives again. I'm talking about my own mother. So, I mean, anybody can do it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
We're
planning. Come on, let's go there.
To the other side. Our guests are here, so let's go.
But then our next feature is on retirement in Nigeria. It's by Emeka. Let's watch it while we go to our visitors' lounge.
In the journey of life, there is a notion of financial security, especially upon entering public service. But is this notion infallible?
There is no job security. It doesn't exist. I tell the young ones now, if you're into a public service, the very day you will get there, begin to prepare for your retirement.
As the lifestyle of individuals evolves, so do their aspirations. Some dream of early retirement, while others prefer to keep working. Yet, one common hope unites them all: retirement with benefits. In the federal public service, retirement life is shaped by two main schemes: the defined benefit and the contributory pension scheme. Gone are the days of personal verification, where retirees queued for their entitlement. Today, retirees have access to life-changing arrangements through PTAD and PFAS, courtesy of the Pension Reform Act.
I used to resume as early as 4:30 a.m. in the morning. If I do morning today, tomorrow I do afternoon. I worked in one office for over 15 years. Many times you'll be going to the office, armed robbers will attack you. You are coming in the night, armed robbers will attack you. But you see an organization whereby their work is seamless. They seem to do nothing. They don't have anybody attacking them. They are getting bigger wages. The formula that they use to calculate pensions differs from one place to the other. NIPOs where I retired is a parastatal, grade A, but they don't use those things for us. You know, when we retired, okay, we were badly remunerated. Badly. And then you are not under PTAD. We were under the NIPOS Pension Board of Trustees. So they used whatever they like for us. There are some organizations that are self-paid. Their pensions are self-funded. What they get is a little bit better than that of the rest of the pack of the civil service. One of the things that Peter has been able to correct is that, okay, they come to your doorsteps, at least to your town, and they give you a hero's welcome. They even serve you meals, okay, and your verification is seamless. Two, they have been able to do some little adjustment of our pensions. The pay as you go is supposed to be tripartite payment. They deduct your money. Most people don't even know when your organization deducts your money, where your money goes to, or if it goes in time. If I'm an accountant that deducts your money in this organization, and this organization is not paying up to 3 months, it's a shortage for you.
In retirement, challenges abound as the value of money diminishes due to inflation. Life during and after public service is indeed a roller coaster.
These present civil servants, people that are in service, have been collecting palliatives. What happens to the palliatives of the pensioners? Pensioners are rejected people. I look forward to a Tinubu administration putting us in the front burner, in the front line. What happens in the state? Some states don't even care that pensioners are alive.
As we navigate the complexities of retirement, one thing remains certain: the importance of planning life's next chapter.
I have noticed that people who retired, even under the DBS that I belong to, when they get their pensions or their gratuity and put it into business, hardly can you see out of 100%, 5% that are successful. Because their entire life depends solely on the monthly salary.
Today, it's all about retirement and benefits, and our guests are here. Today in the studio, we have an A-list star in Nollywood, a lady who has given her all as far as film and making us excited and happy and showing us her talent is concerned. But beyond that, she's doing so many amazing things. We had a chat during the break, and I am in awe. But no worries, she's going to be telling you all those things herself. Let me start with Mona Lisa Chinda.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome to our studios.
Thank you.
Now, it's all about the retirement and benefits we're talking about today. So in the kind of job you do as an actress, is there any retirement? Do people retire from Nollywood? Let me just start generally. Do people say, okay, I'm 60, I'm 70. Is there any retirement age, or people just at your time, you say, okay, I'm retiring? Is that what happens in the film industry?
Well, in entertainment generally, there is no time, no retirement age, because you are a talent. You are, an actor, a singer, a dramatist. So there's no time for retirement. There's no age. There's no restriction, rather. Okay. So you keep doing what you love to do as old as you get, and then on your own, you probably want to give it a break and go do the things that you love to do best. But that also we come to talk about the finances now. Now, of course, in Nigeria, that's a challenge. In the entertainment industry, that's a challenge, except you build for yourself and you have some sort of a financial advisor, or your lawyer can talk to you about saving early for your retirement goals and for your future. So in case there's a health challenge, you'll know what to do. In case you have to, and that's when when you get older, one tends to find God, spirituality. So you need money for all of that. So you need to learn. In fact, awareness needs to start going out there for entertainment people, for all of us, because sometimes we forget. We can be carried away. You will not plan on how to save money for your future. So it's important this conversation should actually start. Yes. So there's no retirement no. No.
Even when you get older, there are different roles you can also interpret.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's not the same you do.
Exactly.
Yes,
Exactly. Yes,
Dr.
exactly.
James, you're here. When she mentioned talk to your lawyer, I just said, right, we have him right here.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Property law.
Yeah, interesting.
Good thing. You say you began working as early as 18.
Yes.
And you retired before you were 60.
Yes.
And you described that 55 as just the best time because you are full of life. So how does the age you retire impact what you're doing afterwards?
I want to say that when I retired after 35 years of service, at 55, I was still very strong. And with a PhD in law, I knew I could do so many things like lecturing. I have always been in the courts. So I had to open a private law office, engage some younger lawyers to work with me. And 7 years down the line, by the grace of God, God has been faithful, merciful. And my greatest joy is the fact that I'm able to build the capacity of younger people and who can keep up the legacy. For myself, it has been very rewarding because I'm active even after service, because the problem you often have is that people who are very active in service, when they retire and they have no work to do, yes, things become difficult. And just like she has said, you have to prepare for your old age. And like it's often said, you start preparing for your retirement from the very first day you start work. And the government and the system must help those who are working. Because sometimes people often forget that they're going to retire after 35 years or at the age of 60. And even if you say, for me, I think 10 years to your retirement time is still is too short, because it's just going to be running just so fast that before you know what is happening, you give notice that I'm 35 years in service or I'm 60 years old.
Well,
And
since you worked in government,
Yeah.
we know it's public and private. But tell us exactly, you said 10 years is late, but many people will start today as they're hearing you now.
Yes.
It's late, but it's still the best time.
I agree
what
with you.
practical steps would you say one ought to take? What did you do to ensure that you even had the financial resources to open a firm and to employ young people?
Now, the first thing is you have to build your capacity. You have to look out for other stream of income. And under the civil service rule, civil servants are allowed to farm. And that is one thing that I will encourage people to leverage on, because you can do gardening around your house, or you can look for farmhouses in places that are safe in these days of insecurity, and make sure that you are able to produce something that will reduce how much you are spending on your market stuff and what have you. Then you need to start saving for your retirement, because you know that it's a thing that is going to come. You don't have to open a very big office and employ so many persons, but you plan according to your capacity. And you must know that you need a place different from your home where you can do your work, and a place where you can have some other persons working with you. And gradually, you will be able to improve your practice and maybe move from such a place to a bigger place. And before long, God bless your job. It will look like the mustard seed that will blossom.
Wow, interesting. Mustard seed. Okay, so Mona Lisa, we all know that you are a movie star, and your career has afforded you an opportunity to do so many things.
That's right.
So we also know that you're not as much on screen like you used to be. We all know that. So what are the other things you're doing aside being a movie star?
Yeah, so I've ventured into, I've branched out, in fact. My tentacles are all over the place. So, yes, and because we live in a very dynamic space where, thank God, you're able to do other things creatively. And speaking of the retirement and this, what Doctor just said now, you see, the plan for your future, you can't really overemphasize on it. And I started thinking early about that. That hence the reason why I said, I think this platform that was given to me was just showcase who I am, my talent, and then use that platform and begin to branch out to other things that would benefit me and my family in the future. Now, having said that, I'm a talk show host. I don't want to call it philanthropy, because philanthropy is from your heart. When people hear philanthropy, they think it's money. I don't have that. What I have is love. What I have is capacity building. What I have is entrepreneurship for young people. What I have is my voice to be heard for young people, to people who give them the platform to grow. What I have is to be able to employ as much people I can employ in the space that I found myself in, either by helping them to become leaders and be able to train them in various capacity through the academy that I am setting up and all of that. So yes, I am doing quite a lot of things, and I don't want to use the whole day to begin to say everything.
But tell us about that farm matter. Because now,
yes.
That's one area where we can delve into. We can
Yes.
We're discussing yam,
Yes.
cassava.
So because my background is farming. Yes, my father was a traditional ruler. My mom too used to work with NNPC before she retired, and we've always had farm. I've always been a farmer as a young child, as a young girl. We used to go to the farm. I know how to uproot cassava. I know how to plant cassava. I know how to plant corn, and I know how to do. plant vegetables. I know how to peel the cassava. I know how to sieve it out, to get it, to turn it into gari. I know how to do all of that. I know everything about farming. Let me not take
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Yes, I know every. Yeah. So yeah. So
Patience, you go and get the manual.
so I know all of that, and it's been rewarding. And because I come from that background, I intend to take it a step further. Yes, I'm into farming.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of young people are watching you to say that, oh, farming is the way to go. Please
That's
talk
farming
to
is
them
the way.
about farming, how
Hey.
they can start. Yeah,
Entrepreneurship,
Some
yes.
young people are thinking, I don't have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
Maybe they are thinking it must be large.
No.
What ways can they start small? Just like you said, and
Yes.
Patience re-echoed, mustard seed.
Yes. So what is your interest? That's number one thing. These young people, the Gen Zs, I don't know. What is their interest? See, this boils down to what they want.
What they want.
You know. And like I will always say again and again and again, awareness and instructive awareness needs to be needs to go out there for these young people, because 90% of them, I'm not going to say 100 because it's almost there, are carried away by the social space, by mundane things. So we need to let them understand that building, starting early, thank God for the social media space, which people are utilizing now to turn into equity, which is fantastic. But then again, they need to sow the seeds for their future. So for farming, for me, if they want love to farm, they need to start now to get themselves trained, know the basic knowledge. I train naturally, so and then they can decide on what they want to do with their knowledge of farming. So yeah, it's just their own interests. You can't force them to go into venture into that. Yeah, so yeah,
It's like what I get from some young people, and perhaps we're once there. They just see the fans, like you just see Mona Lisa Chinda now. You are thinking, oh, pageantry, lovely dresses, trainers,
Beauty,
the lovely hair.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at the years. She's 30 years in an industry.
Yes.
She's a veteran at such a young age. How many 19, 18, 20, 25-year-olds are ready to get down and dig in and work hard?
Yeah.
and work
go
hard and go
with
really
sleepless nights and
That's
all
right.
of that.
Yeah.
But we're going to Ibadan now in Oyo State, and we still talk about retirement. You must plan. The first thing you do is plan. Second thing you do is plan. The third thing again is to plan purposefully. Ibadan, tell us more.
Medical problem, irrespective of your age. You could be 35, you could be 40. If you are incapacitated, you can no longer work physically. You don't have the know-how. You are tagged a retiree.
For those planning for retirement, it is important for them to ensure that they have sufficient financial resources to maintain and improve their lifestyle when they eventually retire.
Before people go on retirement, they normally organize pre-retirement seminar. Under the pre-retirement seminar, they bring a lot of resource person. We have people, some in agro-allied, some in vocational training, some are business gurus, some are from financial institutions. They will come and enlighten you. Some will come, they will show you animal husbandry, some will show you how to rear chicken, some will show you how to rear rabbit, some will show you piggery, so that they want you to live a meaningful life when you're out of service. As you are in active service, you can also do what they call voluntary contribution. Aside what your employer takes from your salary statutorily on monthly basis, the pension commission allow you to do voluntary contribution. National Pension Commission made life easier. They started sometime last year, advising all Nigerian workers. They want to ensure that before you leave service, you already have a roof over your head. All Nigerian workers that have worked or contributed for 60 months and above, that is 5 years, and have above 36 months to go on retirement, to access 25% of their pension contribution from the primary mortgage lenders of their choice.
The day you start government job, it may not even be government job, any kind of salary job, you start preparation for retirement. If we prepare very well, Look at what you are good in. Focus on this. If you are good in buying and selling, look for very good thing, a very good business that you can engage in. And maybe you should start 2-3 years before retirement, so that by the time you retire, you just retire into it.
There are challenges that retirees encounter with the current pension schemes in the nation. It is important we know how they have been able to surmount or cope with these challenges.
Some retirees are earning as low as 10,000. The money that cannot sustain them for a month. How do you imagine such retirees to cope with the hardship in country, high cost of living nowadays? At the same time, some retirees, when we say they should get job acquisition or do farming, some of them have been overstretched when they are in the active service. At the same time, some of them are facing health challenges as regards aging.
If you are lucky, you have your husband around. If you are lucky, you have your wife around. But where you don't have a wife, where you don't have a husband, you just need to get yourself very busy. Get yourself in church activities. Because if you are idle, that's another serious problem in retirement. Just don't do beyond your income. I don't expect anybody retiring to still have children in school. I don't expect anybody just by, retiring to start having a new wife. Because those are the kind of things that you spend your money on, and at the end of the day, you spend and you won't be able to enjoy your retirement.
To enjoy longevity as a retiree, you need to do things that make you happy and spend within your means. This will enable you to live a fulfilled life.
Indeed, retirement is not a time for you to pick a new wife. It's not a time for you. She said as you're retiring, all your children should be out of school. But for that, we might not really control it. But our conversation is still on, and I'll be talking to Dr. James. Dr. James, in Nigeria, Nigerian civil servants in retirement are not happy. A lot of them dread retirement because of what happened. Why is it like that? Is it the fault of the government, or is it the fault of the workers themselves?
I would say it's contributory on the part of the government, on the part of the retirees, and the society generally. Now, the greatest problem with retirement is phobia, fears of the unknown. And after your 35 years or 60 years in service, you begin to have health challenges like diabetes, hypertension, prostate, and other health challenges. And if you have not prepared for your future, you can imagine a situation where somebody was receiving 500,000 as his monthly salary. Under the contributory pension scheme now, you have to take home 75,000. Now, your challenges have not reduced. And if you have not prepared for it, and you have no other stream of income, there's no way you'll be able to meet all your responsibilities. And that is why you see, sometimes you see when people retire and they are not active, they get older, and sometimes even malaria is enough to kill you. Because if you have no money to go to the hospital or to buy your drugs, and that phobia, you die even before your death. So it is advisable that we look ahead, that, oh, I still have to manage my lifestyle, to manage my situation. It's not in retirement you begin to donate money in churches, in social gatherings, like I just had marrying new wives or having new children and things of the sort. Yes, in peculiar circumstances, it could happen, but you must manage it in such a way that you will not be unhappy in retirement.
But let me just quickly also ask, intentional. Yes. But let me ask something. Sometimes it seems as though Nigerian civil servants don't want to plan. But with the kind of money we are being paid, because all your life you're raising children while you are working, you have 4 kids, for example, you're raising them. At the time you get to the directorial cadre, maybe you're on your way out. So is it that because it's looking like we don't want to plan, but what we are being paid, does it affect it?
Yes, I would say, for me, I believe that the Nigerian worker does not take home a living wage.
Okay.
And that is why I said it's contributory on the part of the government, the civil servant, and the society. Sometimes we want to live in the society as if we're in competition with other persons. Somebody has just bought a C400 Mercedes. You are struggling with your scarce resources and income. You want to buy it so that people will see that you are
they're the one that
enjoying
compete with each other on that level.
Compete with the air.
So I'm trying to say that you must invest in income yielding businesses. So that
as soon as early on in the
yes,
service as you can.
so that you don't run into a situation where you are financially grounded. And like I said, phobia is the greatest undoing of the retiree. Oh, God forbid, if I have a prostate challenge and I have to pay this or pay that, where will I get the money from? But I will say, when you are working, there's one thing that you must emphasize, and that is goodwill. As you are working, if you have goodwill, you do your job diligently. You are dedicated to your job. In fact, you will see so many persons out there who will appreciate your services. There are times I will be somewhere, somebody will say, oh, when you were deed registrar, you gave me my certificate. You didn't ask for anything. I'll say, I can't remember. Recently, I was somewhere and somebody said, oh, you're Dr. James of Aegis. Oh, you did this or you did that. And I said to you, in my practice, one thing that has upped my practice is that goodwill. Because sometimes some persons will even call for you and say, I'm giving jobs out to lawyers. Come and take some. So one thing I want to say is that the differences between the retirees' life in Nigeria and in the Western world is the fact that the Western world provide for them. As senior citizens, you can use the bus without payment. There are many other things. In fact, even social security provision,
especially
you know, but in this part of the world, it is not like that. And sometimes when you retire from a system, the system look at you that, oh, you have had your full. And if you call your colleagues and you want something,
they are counting days for you.
So you see, that goodwill is very important. And leave the other ones to God.
Goodwill is another word for being considerate and kind to others. Sometimes you find that a boss has served. Working hard is not enough. Being diligent is not enough. You must take each person into consideration and show kindness to them. But please tell us, Mona Lisa, Patience asked him something about the money we have. Some say may not be a living wage, but is that an excuse to procrastinate? You know that's what you are earning. The retirement is there. Whether the money goes up or down, the door will open for you to step out. And God helping you may be in good health. How can we face being intentional and plan in spite of what we earn?
That's a very difficult question, and I don't know how I'm going to answer that. Because, you see, number one thing is we have to consider the environment where we live. Let's talk about the minimum wage, for instance. A worker goes home with 75,000, like you said, and has probably 5 children. You see, I would still take it back to the home. You don't have any business having 5 children. You don't have any business not working. That's why. Is it part of illiteracy? Is it part of, because well, I don't want to speak about myself now. Let's talk about the general public. You know this is what you are going to be paid in the next 30 years of your life. You are aware. Now, apart from the fact that a well-grounded industry understands the fact that for every individual who works in this company, they take out just a stipend for your future to save for you. They call it, what do they call it again now? Contribution or whatever. Now, let's not talk about that one. But let's go to the rural areas. You are working in a railway station. You have 75,000 naira as your salary. When you go back home, you have like 3, 4, 5 children to cater for and a wife. It's not enough. I don't know what kind of excuse. It's not an excuse. It's not enough. It's not enough. But if the partner, which is the wife, who is always futuristic, can take stipends from there and begin to do other petty things, all that stuff, like I will still go back to farming. because that's the only way one can benefit from this retirement issue. You can, but it's still not enough. Anyhow you want to look at it.
But what if we start the farming early?
With
what
which
if we
land?
Start farming right there.
Let's talk about the people who live.
You are farming almost everything you eat. That takes away the burden of food.
That's right. At the back of your house, you can have your vegetables, your perishable goods, tomatoes at the back of it. That I love that. That takes away a lot of body. And again, health. It's healthy. That's the healthy living, healthy lifestyle. That was that. Yes. So our parents knew all of those things. Now, the people of today, do they do that? Our parents were at the back of our house. We had all those nice, lovely, small garden. Every time my mother wants to cook, she just goes to the back and bitter leaf, everything at the back of the okra. So we grew up that way, and we were 6. And my mother worked before she retired from NNPC. She's 76 now, and her retirement grants and benefits comes to her because she's paid her dues with NNPC to the glory of God.
Over there, the pension and the gratuity is much more substantial.
That's right.
But in spite of that, she still puts something on
the table, on the side. So our parents were just wonderful. We can't rule that out. And I just pray that going forward, for the future, for parents now, they will chart a course for themselves for the future. Because honestly, Nigeria is a very difficult place to apply all those policies and all of that. It's stringent. We live in a very stringent condition. So it's just,
in fact, someone once said that some of the wages that people earn is just asking them to do negative things at work and elsewhere. If we expect them to survive and raise families. But in spite of that, some will still say it is possible to cut your coat according to the amount of fabric that you have. Because you don't think it's possible? I'm seeing doubt
all over my face, right?
It's hard. It's really hard.
But again,
it's really hard.
Finances. There's other aspect of retirement that people are afraid of, social issues. People, all of a sudden, you are this person that at home. You have these friends at work that are always coming to see you. You go and your phone is not ringing anymore. Especially in the civil service. When you're an oga in a place like this, everybody's calling you work for every day, sad this, mad this, all of a sudden. So people are apprehensive. So how do you cope with the alienation that comes with retirement? You're alone now. Any of you can speak to this. How do you cope with that? Forget money. Now you even have money. They even say in a situation where you are not lacking financial, whatever. What of the
mental?
Yeah, mental. The loneliness that comes with not knowing what to do. You wake up in the morning and I hear there was a boss of ours that woke up on that retirement and took his bath, wore his ID card. It was when he was wearing his ID card.
I remember.
That he dropped it and then came and sat down. Like somebody told me the story. So, how
about? Do you want to take it?
Okay. When you retire, like I said, if you were very active at work, it's a different lifestyle altogether. You need to have passion for some kind of sports or physical exercises. It can be working out. It can be playing tennis. It can be playing golf or any other thing. And you have to develop this passion ahead of time. You don't wait it's your retirement before you say, I'm going to start doing it. Then the other thing is you need your family support, particularly your spouse. And this is where family values come in. If you have been nice to your wife over the years, this is the time to support you. I have to say this. I have to say this so that you know it's an investment that you can reap from. Because like I said about goodwill, if you, while working, you were nice to people, you get the benefit when you're out of the office. If you've been nice to your wife and now the money is not coming the way it used to come, she'll be supportive. She will advise you or caution you or plead with you and tell you that, please, you are the only person I have who's helping to train these children and all that. Please, don't do this, don't do that, and all that.
And she will tell you with love.
Yes, she will tell you with love. Sometimes people look at it, I'm the man, I'm the boss. Therefore, you don't have to tell me this or that. But the truth of the matter is that the situations have changed. And we must be realistic.
No, you are still the boss, though, but that solid neck,
Yeah.
the neck that is lifting everything forward to positive things,
Yes.
is the lady.
True. And sincerely speaking, for me, I celebrate women. I respect women.
He's a he for
because
she.
if you want peace, show peace to women.
Yes.
If you're married, like my mother-in-law, we're so close. I was closer to my mother-in-law than my wife.
Oh my goodness.
And I know the benefit I got from it. And I want to say, we as men, and even women too, because God can bless the family through anybody. It could be the woman, it could be the man.
Yes.
If you have been good to yourselves over the years, you will complement each other in this very difficult and precarious situation.
Even when the resources are not
There.
phenomenal, you'll still be okay. Can you speak to that? Like the role of women. Someone sent me a comedy skit yesterday, and I laughed. Sometimes you find that there's a small age gap between the man and the woman, and she may still be working when her spouse retires.
True.
The lady brought food for the husband, no protein in it. And when the man complained, she almost like lifted her hand. The man who started trying to eat the food. And then the pastor came and she brought a different meal for the pastor. The chicken was, in fact, she put the whole chicken in the
my
plate.
God.
She knelt down to greet the pastor. She showed more regard for the pastor and her husband. And her children were watching it and they began to cry with their father. That why is mommy doing this, to you? Can we speak to that issue? We know that couples will have issues, but amidst that, does the love end? Does the support end? Because at the end of the day, that lady is going to play a very important role in the life of the home when the older spouse retires.
Respect in marriages, communication in marriages from the onset is very crucial. If you do not have respect for one another, that's the kind of treatment you're going to get. Let's say lay it on the table as it is. I don't understand what religion. Why would a pastor be given more preference than her husband, she's lived with almost all her life, and the children are there? It just doesn't make any sense to me. There's no respect. There's no respect in that home. It's unfortunate, and that will lead quickly to the depression. The man's mental state is depleted. Will be depleted. So there's no love. So that's it.
Basically. Okay, so what can we do in retirement? Can we start something new? Let's say I've been a broadcaster all my life. I retire. Okay, let me go and study medicine. Is it possible for people?
Let me be a chef.
Or be a chef. Or let me become reinventing yourself. Reinventing yourself, even in retirement. If you have the health and you have the energy. Is it possible?
So with that's why areas of interest come to play. That thing you love to do, but because of work, we're not able to do it. That is where you channel your energy to when you retire. It's so interesting when you plan. It's so interesting when you want to see yourself in the next 10 years. After I leave this office now, what do I want to become? What do I want to do? Some people go back to school to teach. Some people go to find God somewhere. Some people go to sit down with old people, even though they are old, and just talk to them. Some people just create something for their mental state and so that they don't become depressed and all that. And some people travel.
Those who have the resources.
Those who have the resources to travel. Yes.
Tell us, you have something happening today. You have some activities.
No, not today.
Okay, not today. Okay, but tell us about it.
Well, like I said earlier, I have a foundation which has been going on for almost over a decade, and it creates opportunities for people, for young people, for old people, for men, for women, and there's a platform I set up for capacity building. Yes, and it's not really restricted. I started with autistic children. I used to work with autistic children, and I began to do other things given that platform. So on the 28th of March, we are doing an entrepreneurship program, empowerment program for young people, people who have started business but struggling in some areas. So we want to give them, I won't call it grants, I want to give them some sort of financial push for them to, because the economy is really, so young people are crying everywhere, and so we want to see what we can do for them. We went to the University of Abuja. We scouted around and we found out Some of them are doing something, but probably need financial. So we intend to have speakers on that day, panelists, and I'm in partnership with 1% International. We're coming together to do this too, and it's been amazing. The support has been overwhelming. It's been incredibly. In fact, it's bigger than
That's
what
the
we thought.
goodwill that.
That's the goodwill.
That's
So
the
that, I wanted to
goodwill.
rest on that
You
goodwill.
have put something out there.
Yes.
and
So
it's coming
goodwill
back.
is one should rest on that goodwill. It's important you're able to give, you're able to share when you're in a position to help. It's very important. People who are in the position to help never help. They leave people in the cold. And then you don't think when you leave that space, you will get whatever thing that you give is what is going to come back to you. That's just how life is.
But can I just ask you something based on what you just shared with us? You know, sometimes these young people, even we at our age, if we get huge money today now, we need to seek the help of a financial advisor. Even if we have plans, we have ideas, these young people now that you're impacting, who is going to direct them?
So
who's going to provide checks and balances?
So we are partnering with a financial house. They are going to be the one to do the monitoring. They are going to be the one to do the training. That's why I said we didn't even realize it was going to be embraced the way it is. Yeah, it's amazing. So that we leave it to them to deal with that.
People are watching it. So young people are watching and they're thinking, can we come for this program?
Are you kidding me? You are so invited for this program.
We have a few messages. They've been coming in, but our gist was just so engaging. I didn't want to take a break. Someone is saying, my mother retired after 12 years in service with the Nigerian police force as a cleaner.
Oh, wow.
But she was called spy and she was not entitled to pension. Some said that 12 years was too short. They also said she was under the Civil Service Commission and not that of the police. And so she wasn't entitled to any remuneration. Lawyer. Let me take a few more so that I can attend to 2 or 3. Someone says, please, the unions need to be more active in terms of advising people about their entitlements and the benefits that ensue. Hence, thus, some say that many people who have worked for over 25 years don't even know what has accrued and what they can utilize this money for. Let me see if we have one other thing for Dr. James to attend to. It said, good morning all. My name is Sunny from Lagos. Is government saying they are doing something about making our wages a living one? But you didn't say where you're working from. Just be certain to the one that
let me say, start from the last one. For the living wage, I heard a few days ago that the government is working on it. But I pray that when it comes out, it will actually be a living wage. Because my worry and fears is the fact that the public service is like a social welfare scheme. You employ more people than you need. And in the process, you see people in offices gisting instead of having jobs that needs to be done in a day, in a week, in a month, and you need to review and find out if whatever money you are paid, if there's justification for it. Let's hope we're going to have a living wage with the present engagement with government. Then the second one is the unions needs to
be more active.
Like I said before, you see, this whole thing about retiree, the government has a role to play. The unions have a role to play. NGOs have a role to play. The employers have a role to play. If you look at the new Pensions Act, it's no longer what it used to be under the old Pensions Act that was restricted to civil servants only. Now it's both public and private sector. If you have the number of staff, you must have a pension scheme for them. In other words, they contribute some money, then you match it up, and that is the amount that is referred to as contributory pension for that particular staff. So the point I'm trying to make is that the government needs to carry out sensitization seminars and tell people what their prospects are in service and out of service. You need to know what do they mean by annuity? What do they mean by program withdrawal? Because if they just tell you program withdrawal, you see it's higher than annuity, you put your hand in program withdrawal. After 1-2 years, I retired. Somebody said something to me that struck me. And he said, do you know they will be taking from the money that you have in an account, and the moment that money finishes, they're not going to pay you anything any longer. So I thought of it, and I had to quickly change my pension,
PFA.
my PFA from a particular one to another one.
I was going to say that.
I know.
You had to work smart.
I had to work smart. So even though the money I'm receiving monthly now is smaller than what I was receiving in the other one, but I'm sure as long as I live, I will receive that money. You know, that is for that. Then the other question that says the mother said for 12 years and all that. She didn't say what time this was, whether it was under the old pension scheme or the new pension scheme. And again, this is where most people working needs to understand terms of engagement. If you are employed in Julius Berger and you choose to go to UAC or to Arab contractors, you should understand that the terms of engagement are not the same. Particularly in government offices. If you move from one particular ministry or agency to another, you need to put your record straight so that you'll be able to take the benefit of that particular place. Because what she's saying is that they are saying that she ought to go to Civil Service Commission and not the police. So it depends on where she was employed, and this test will tell people that you need to straighten out your records before it's time for retirement.
It takes us back perhaps where we began, that you must be curious about what you want to do with your life during and after work. Someone says here, John from Gombe says, your discussion, is it not even abstract? Says state government workers are suffering and struggling with little or nothing, which they call salary. Some of us grew up with parents who worked the so-called meritorious 35 years. We're now taking care of our parents, taking care of ourselves, taking care of extended families, and taking care of our own children. Do you have an answer to that? Let me also ask you what somebody else is saying, that about the disparity in gratuity and pension. That one person goes home with 80 million, someone else is going home or getting to the door or the car park with 5 million. Now, why that disparity, and why has it been allowed to go on for so long?
Okay, now you see, I start from the last question. You see, at the point of engagement, you need to know what the terms of engagement are. If you got a job in a particular agency and some other person got a job in NNPC or CBN, the terms of engagement are not the same. So you have to know from day one that you are not going to have the same exit package, in the sense
we're
that
all government.
Yes,
Government.
the point to make is that government needs to set up a committee and reconcile this disparity, because people now want to go work in those places where they can get more money, and it is those who know who that gets those jobs.
Not everyone
so
will work
what
there.
we need to do is to standardize it and make sure that everybody gives his best, and the difference is reasonable, or not too much that people will want to go to a particular place or the other.
Okay, someone is asking Mona Lisa here. He says, what you're doing is so wonderful. Empowerment for young people. I want to be a part of it. How can I access it? Please, ma, help.
So you can actually register on the website www.arisemonalisafoundation.org, and you follow all the information that's been displayed there. That's the way. And the good thing about it again is you are also able to display your goods there as well for free of charge. So everybody can come and buy, and the money goes directly.
Okay, for those creative, hardworking youths. Someone is asking us, we thought PENCOM would be here. We did send them an invite, which I took personally, and we had hoped they would make it, but perhaps they had a very busy schedule. Someone says, please help us to tell PENCOM to increase the percentage for what we can collect from 25% to 50%. Talking about the gratuity for retirees. She too from Abuja is saying this.
Yes, while you were going to speak to that, please can you just tell us in plain language, not in the say I retire. No, people really want to know.
Yes,
they just percentages and
exactly.
If I retire, will I get, and my money is 2 million, for example, will I get my 2 million?
Okay. Now,
Please,
the
speak to
truth of the
that.
matter is that these are regulated by the Pensions Act. Now, if you get to certain age, you can take 50% of your.
What age, please? Can you mention age?
Normally, they said 55.
Okay, you can get up from 55. You can access.
You
your
can
money.
50%.
50%.
Of the
Now,
total
of the
contributory
total
pension.
contributory pension.
Oh, okay.
And you know, the total money, you take half of it, and the other half is given to pension administrator to invest for you. And that is where your monthly pension now comes. And that's why I talked about program withdrawal and annuity. Okay. Now, what used to happen is that some people would say, even when they have not met up to the years that they can access 50%, they will think it is like the old scheme where you can take your 100%. Now, there was a question that we are missing, the person who talked about himself taking care of the parents.
Yes.
Now, under the old scheme, what used to happen is that some people were getting their pension, or many others were not getting. And that was what brought about the pension reforms. But unfortunately, I want to say that the pension reform needs a review, in the sense that what people get is so small, so meager, that it's not equally a living wage. The government needs to work with all the stakeholders so that this can be reviewed. Because a situation where you pay 1% to somebody, and at the end of the day, the pension administrator are getting more money, it does not make sense to me.
The person who has put in the years of service.
So we have to look at it so that, it has to be redone so that retirees can have a better
can actually
life.
smile.
Yes.
Because when we do this package, our program, we usually get feedback nationwide.
Yes.
And even though some retirees are doing okay, they are making do, a good number of them are not.
Very good
Yes,
number.
a
So
good number.
what one wonders, first of all, I know there's procrastination. Many did not prepare for retirement in terms of knowing what has accrued to them. But what was discussed earlier about what happens abroad and doesn't happen here in terms of health care, is so impactful. We see men. The day I went to Pencom to put that letter, I saw about 8 people who didn't look so elderly. Maybe they just retired. Of the 8 that were there, 2 ladies were helping a gentleman. He had obviously just had a stroke. Another lady even came unattended to. She had obviously had a stroke as well and could barely communicate about what her challenges were and why she was even there. Good thing there was a wonderful gentleman there who took her aside to a private office and was giving her, attending to her especially, and asked her if she could write so she could put the words together and he would see what he could do for her. So can we speak to that about, what is lacking with some retirees here in terms of compare them with
Okay, now, like I said, in
outside
the
the
Western
country?
world, you have you have provisions under the Social Security scheme for senior citizens or retirees. But out here, we're just looking at this monthly pension thing that is not a living wage and that can't take anybody anywhere. So we need to be able to review, like I said, the Pension Act so that the narrative can change. Then for PENCOM itself, as a government and regulatory agency, they need to up their game. Because most retirees, even when you complain, they don't get the back of PENCOM. And these pension administrators are just making these retirees, and that's why you see people are afraid to retire. That phobia. So we need to ask that stakeholders should ask for a review of the pension scheme in such a way that retirees can have a living wage.
And government too has a role to play. I mean, we can't leave everything for
For them
but it's
alone.
okay.
It's almost that time to go. The curtain will drop, but let our special guest give us one phrase that we can take away.
Okay, so there's something I need us to talk. It's very sensitive. Our parents, we are looking after our parents. These young ones have their own agendas. So if we don't begin to plan our future now, is going to tell on us. It will shock all of us. So plan your future. Plan. Don't stop planning. Even when you get there, continue to plan for the another 30 years or 50 years of your life being given for free on this earth, because your children might disappoint you at the end of the day.
Yes.
This Gen Z.
This Gen Z.
They're more inwardly focused.
Yes, exactly.
Dr. James, your final word.
Yes. I want to say that as retirees, you must understand that the situation have changed. You need to plan your life, your lifestyle, your spendings, your health situation. You need to take part in some physical activities. And like the world is going, you need to diversify your means of income.
If you don't mind, usually hold hands when we're going.
So, thank you.
To show that it's one love.
Yeah.
And I'm so inspired by our two guests today.
Honestly.
They are giving back massively. Let that be our lifestyle. Anything you give back is going to change the narrative for so many people.
That's right.
We love our country.
We love our
us all.
country.
God bless
God bless
Nigeria.
Nigeria.